Good morning. My name is Michelle Chapman. I have over 16 years experience dealing with large global corporations, working with their financials, and I'm here to wrap up the cost of goods sold section today. So to get to your product cost, your final retail cost that you're going to offer to your customer, you really have to focus on building up your cost of goods sold to figure out what it actually costs you to produce the product or to sell the product that you're selling to your customer. Even if you're not a manufacturer, you're not producing the product, you're still going to have labor and consumable expense that it is costing you to provide either a service or a resale retail product. So we've went into the 4 pieces of your cost of goods sold. If you missed them, check out my earlier videos. You have your cost of materials, where you build up your bill of materials or your BOM to get your cost per unit of the product that you're pricing. Second is your cost of consumables, which again is not one for one, and it's going to be something consumed in the process of making. So if you're a painter, paint's a consumable. Your palette is a consumable. If you're making bracelets, your glue for your bracelets is a consumable. So anything that's going to be used up and consumed and no longer in existence in a year is your cost of your consumables. Next, your cost of your labor, which my earlier video also showed you how to calculate that. And then finally, your freight costs. So once you have your price per unit for each one of your SKUs of these 4 areas, you will add those up. So for example, say I get $5. It's going to cost me $5 for this product before I sell it to a customer. So then you're going to look at your margins. I recommend 35 to 40% margins on your product. Reason being, you're going to need at least 5% for your profit, 15% for your tax, and then that's going to leave you 15 to 20% for your overhead expenses. And I will do another video to explain how to forecast, budget, and cost out your overhead. So once you get your product costs and you determine what your margins are going to be, so for an example, I'm going to say 35% margin. That's, pretty standard. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your $5 divided by 1 minus the margin that you want. So if you want 35%, you're going to convert that to a number, 0.35. You're going to take 1 minus the desired margin. 1 minus 0.35, you're going to get 0.65. Now you're going to take the cost of your product, the original $5, divided by the 0.65, which is the difference between 1 and your product margin you're hoping to fetch. So the result of that would end up being $7.69 in this specific example is what you would retail price your product to your customers when it cost you $5, and that's at a 35% margin.